All right, and we will go ahead and begin with Ade Ogundeji. Ade, your first question will be from Tim Priester.
Ade, hi. Couple things. As a fifth year senior, you've been around since before the institution of the mental performance training, just to compare and contrast before and after. And then also, we were talking to Coach Kelly about third downs. You guys have done a great job of putting opposing offenses in third and long. Just the mindset between a third and long and a third and short for you, and as it relates to the opposing offense.
Yeah, first on the first question, mental performance. I think when I first got here, there wasn't a lot of work on the mental side of it, and it was all just kind of physical and going out there and playing football. But as the years went on, we made a priority to have mental performance training, and I think it helps us when we get into situations like we did last Saturday. When it's overtime or when a lot of stuff is going wrong, we just got to have that mental capacity to go out there and play hard. And for third down, when you can get a team on third down and long, it changes your whole game plan, or their whole game plan. Obviously it becomes a passing down, and we can go out there and attack, and it makes the offense predictable. So when you get third and short, they can do a lot of different things, but when it's third and long, they're predictable, and we have an opportunity to get to the quarterback.
Our next question will be from Carter Carls.
Ade, if you could just take me through that double overtime where I'm sure it was an exhausting game. You've been playing more plays than you had all season. What gave you and Dalen the energy to get to the quarterback, make those plays after, playing so long and I'm sure being exhausted at that point of the game?
Yeah, it just goes back to our training. We talk about this all the time. Kudos to the strength team and the mental performance team. They talk about, when it's down and when you're tired, to give everything that you got. And, at that moment in time, we knew that, we had to get everything I got. We're playing against the number one team in the nation in one of the craziest games. And at that moment in time, you have to know that it's a great opportunity to make a play. So I think for me and Dalen, we knew that we had to make a play. And, I'm just blessed. And I know Dalen's blessed for us to just make a play. It took everything for us to make that play, but it was a great opportunity, and I'm happy that we got the opportunity to do it.
We'll go next to John Finneran.
Adi, I wonder if you could replay for us the last play of the game, what occurred from your standpoint, and then when you turned around and saw the massive humanity coming at you.
Yeah, so last play of the drive, we had called just kind of like a prevent kind of defense, and they threw it, and they were tossing it around. I really didn't know where the ball was. But at that point, I saw Nick get on it, and, next thing you know, it kind of just happened so quickly. There's so many people coming out and running past me, and it was just a crazy experience. It's a blessing. Those are things that you'll never forget. Those are memories that I'll always have throughout my lifetime. So I'm glad I got to do it with these group of guys and with this brotherhood.
We'll go next to Doug Farmer.
Ade, if you can think back a few years before you really got into the rotation, you did get some run against Clemson in the playoff semifinal, having a bit of an impact there. What were you able to pull from that experience going up against that level of competition before you really started in the rotation the last couple of seasons?
Yeah, anytime you're going against a team that's good like that 2 years ago, it's definitely going to get you better. I think that game was definitely a stepping stone for me, to make sure I get better. After that loss, I remember coming off the field with Lowe and talking to him about it. And at that point, I knew I was like, all right, we got to get better because I want to go back here. I want to go back here and win a national championship. And if we're going to go back here, we're going to have to go through, obviously, it's Clemson. So, I think that was a big moment for me to understand that, like, I got to work harder, and also for the team. We talked about this game the whole time, the whole season, and we were mentioning it was behind our heads, and we knew that we had to go out there and play. So I definitely think it was a great stepping stone for me, but also a stepping stone for the whole team as well.
We'll go next to Patrick Engel.
Hey, Ade, going back to third downs, it seems like one of the reasons you're able to be successful there is just getting him into third and long a lot. What's the mindset on first down or those run downs to try to create the negative plays you guys seem to be able to produce on early downs?
Yeah, just doing our jobs. That's the biggest thing. On first and second down, it's all about doing your jobs. You don't know exactly what the offense is going to give you. We try to figure out some nuggets there and there, but you're not always going to get it. But you just have to understand that you got to do your job. And when all 11 guys are in their gaps, especially on the run against good teams and against running teams, that's what it's about. It's about everybody getting in their gaps and doing their job. And that's what we've done a great job of doing the last couple of weeks. So I'm definitely happy, and we just got to continue to do it throughout the year.
We'll go next to Caroline Pineda.
Hey, Ade, you waited a couple years to really get your moment here. What did that teach you about being patient? And then how has that helped you develop as a player?
Yeah, I think patience is definitely, I would say, one of my virtues. And, I would say I always tell the young guys is that, there's going to be times where you feel like you should be playing, but you're not. But you always got to wait for that opportunity. And when you get the opportunity, you just got to go out there and play hard and make your opportunity count. For me, it took me a while to be, in this position I am right now. But, I always thought I'd never wavered. There were some times where I was a little down on myself, but I never wavered. And I never was like, oh, I can't do this. I always had confidence and belief that I could, someday be in a starting role and someday play at the level. So, just continue to believe in yourself, continue to have confidence. And that's what I'm trying to do right now.
Our next question is from Angelo Di Carlo. And Angelo, I think you're on mute. All right, we will circle back, but first we'll go to Pete Sampson.
Ade, I was interested in, you guys put so much energy into Clemson, preparing and thinking about it really for weeks. What sort of practice after that? Like, what kind of come down from a once in a lifetime moment is it, and to try to get back in gear for Boston College?
Yeah. I mean, like you said, we were preparing for this game for a while, but we can't just, go back and not do to our old ways. We can't just forget about it. We can't just go on around our day and not focus on what we have at task. We have to focus on BC because BC is a good team. They played Clemson very well when they played them. So they're a good team and they're highly capable. So we got to go out there and play hard just like we did against Clemson. We got to go into this week thinking that they're going to be a very good team that we're going against. So, we can't put our foot off the pedal. We have to continue to play hard, continue to go out there and practice hard, and we'll get the results.
We'll go next to Lou Emoji.
Hi, Ade. You talked earlier about, teaching the younger players to stick with the opportunities. And speaking of younger players, I don't know how often you have a chance to go up against Michael Mayer at tight end, but he seems extremely physically advanced at this point in his career. What have been like your and other teammates' initial impressions of him as to how he's able to contribute so soon?
Yeah, man, just seeing him out there make plays is incredible. I think he's a very good player. He's only scratching the surface. He does everything the right way. He comes into the meetings the right way, on time. He's just a great guy. He plays physical at the point of attack, and he can really go up there and make grabs. That's the one thing I've seen about him is that he's going after the ball every single time he's out there, and I think that's really important for a person at his position.
We'll go next to Mark Skoll.
Hey, Ade, I'm just curious, what's it going to be like for you to go against your former teammate, Phil Jurkovec, this weekend? Have you said anything to him? And how good of a player has he been this year for Boston College?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't said anything to Phil this week, but, Phil was a great teammate. He was cool, a little funny guy. But, he's a great guy. Watching him on film, he can make every throw. He's a big guy. He can throw on the run. He can do a lot of different things, and he's a playmaker out there. So it's going to be an exciting challenge for us, and I'm ready for it, and I'm hyped for it.
And we will wrap it up with Angelo Di Carlo.
Can you hear me now, Ade?
Yes.
Mert just asked my question about Phil, but just following up on that, can you just tell us how strange it is to go up against a former teammate immediately? I mean, obviously it doesn't usually happen a year after. Maybe you could get somebody down the road, but also it being the quarterback. Obviously, you know him very well, and he knows you guys very well.
Yeah, it's obviously gonna be a little weird seeing him in a different uniform, but you just still gotta go against him. You still gotta play against him, and that's how we're gonna treat him like an opponent. So, Phil does a lot. Like I said, Phil does a lot of good things well. He throws on the run pretty well. He's a big guy, gets away from tackles, and he really can make a lot of good throws. So, like I said, we gotta stay focused on him and the whole offense, and play to our strengths, and we'll get the results that we can.
All right, and we will wrap it up there. Thank you very much, Ade. We'll continue in a few minutes with Shane Simon. So if you do have a question, please go ahead and raise your hand. All right, and we will continue this evening with Shane Simon. Shane, your first question will be from Tim O'Malley.
Shane, from the outside, I think a lot of us felt that was your best game this season. What did you kind of do in preparation to have that success? And more important, did Coach Lee feel that was your best game this season? I think that's what matters most.
I kind of just try to stick to my traits, stick to the process that we always have, watch film, play hard in practice, and just continue to get better and better. And yeah, I think I had a little bit of made some plays that helped the team, and I'm just hoping to do the same going forward.
We'll go next to Tim Priester.
Shane, the mental performance training that you guys go through, does that work for you? What impact has that had on you? And secondly, we talked to Coach Kelly about how good you guys have been on 3rd and long, and he said it's because, or 3rd down, and it's because you guys have been 3rd and long. Just the mindset difference between, say, a 3rd and 9 and 3rd and 4.
I think half of our third down defense comes from our ability to get stops on 1st and 2nd down, and so we look to get negative plays on the 1st, 2nd down to hopefully get longer 3rd downs. And at that point, it's just a kill mentality to go out and finish the job. And our 3rd down defense does a great job of going out and getting stops, and that helps us get wins there.
We'll go next to Patrick Engel.
Hey, Shane, kind of going off the same thing there. It seems like a lot of the plays where you guys stuffed Travis Etienne or Clemson's running backs for a loss or no game or right after some of their big plays. What did that do as far as confidence that you could stop them for an entire game and just an ability to snuff out any quick scoring drives they would have attempted to do?
Yeah, I think for our defense, it's a lot about energy. And so whenever we're able to get a negative yard to snap, we all get juiced up and hyped up, and that really plays into our energy level and allows us to keep going back out there and keep trying to get stops. And so yes, our early success definitely helped us because, the crowd was involved as well. So everything else was glorified a little bit. So it definitely helps to get negative yardage snaps and to be able to get a sense of their offense and figure out what they were doing and sort of just make plays there.
We'll go next to johnfineran.
Hey, Shane, 2-parter. First of all, how much interest did Boston College show in you when you were coming out of high school? And the second part is talk a little bit about your relationship with Phil Jurkovec and how weird it might be to be going against him this week.
Yeah, so Boston College was actually my first offer coming out of high school. So I mean, they're close school, so definitely had a lot of interest there. But yeah, Phil's my guy. Like we still talk to him pretty frequently. He was part of our class, so we all stay pretty close. So yeah, Phil's definitely we're all still cool and looking forward to play against him, and may the best man win. We're looking to go compete just like he is, and we're gonna go after him.
We'll go next to Tyler James.
Hey Shane, does a game like Saturday night for yourself feel like a long time coming as a guy that's been battling for playing time throughout his career, and how do you sort of keep that momentum going moving forward throughout the season?
I mean, it was definitely a fun game to play in. A huge atmosphere. What you dream about playing while you come to Notre Dame to play in these big time games, but I mean, it's not the mountaintop. I'm looking for more. There's plays out there for me to make. There's more plays for me to make, and there's things I have to work on to get better and better. So, I mean, it was a good game, but I have a lot more to prove, a lot more to play for, and I'm looking forward to do that.
We'll go next to Angelo Di Carlo.
Shane's following up on facing Phil. What makes him so talented? And, what did you guys see when he first came, when he was part of your recruiting class, and how has he grown now as you look at him on film as an opponent?
He's a gunslinger. Phil loves the deep ball. He's trying to make plays, and he's a big body quarterback. So he can try to escape, get out of the pocket, and be creative. Phil has athletic ability. He played basketball, so he's obviously athletic, and he's gonna make plays. So that's what we see most of out of him. He's a baller, and he's got to go get him.
We will circle back to Tim Priester.
Just want to follow up, Shane, about the mental performance training, what impact that has had on you and your development.
It's a big help to focus. Like centers your focus, allows you to think about certain things, certain times, and not have your head filled with all the outside noise, outside just distractions that can lead you to be out of what you need to focus on. And so I think mental performance for me has definitely helped me just center where I need to be at, make sure I'm in the spot where I'm at right now and playing to the best of my ability.
And we will go back to Tyler James.
Shane, can you describe everything you went through in terms of rehabbing from the dislocated patella? That sounds very painful. And when did you maybe feel like you started to regain your strength and get back to your normal self?
It was definitely tough. I mean, a lot of dark days, down in the dumps, not able to do stuff, and finally be able to get to walk, then you can't really run, and everything kind of hurts for a while, and it's tough, but kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you start getting better and better. And around the summer and around June, by the time I got back, and I was able to move fully and do everything I had to do. So by the time fall camp came, I was able to get out there and just go. And so kind of around fall camp, when I got the pads back on, I realized that I'm back here and I'm ready to play. So that was really it.
And we'll do one last call for questions for Shane. All right, that's all we got for you, Shane. Thank you very much. And our next student athlete in a few moments will be Drew White. So if you do have a question, please go ahead and raise your hands. All right, we will continue this evening with Drew White. Drew, your first question will be from John Fineran.
Hi, Drew. I got a couple of questions for you. First of all, how long did you allow yourself to celebrate after that victory? How crazy was it on the field? How quickly did you get off of the field? And talk a little bit about having to go up against Phil Jakovic, a former teammate.
All right. Well, yeah. So right after the Clemson game, it was pretty hectic. I didn't even really notice that they were storming the field until I made contact with students, and they were just flooding from everywhere. Coach Kelly did a good job before the game telling us when we won, the fans were gonna probably storm and that we'd go into the locker room. So it's pretty much exactly what I did. He kind of set us up for that moment. We have a rule: whenever you beat a team, you can celebrate as much as you want, but it's for 24 hours. And so after that 24 hours, it's back to the next week. College football, when you have a game every week, it's a quick turnaround, and you need to start game planning and focused on the next game. So that was no different after this Clemson game. No matter how big of win it really was, it's no different than any other win. So 24 hours, and now we're on to BC and we're rolling. So, and then your third point, playing Phil this week. I'm excited. I know that's, a big story, but I kind of just, whoever I'm lining up against, I'm looking to compete and we're looking to dominate. So, it's really no different off the field. I'm still, I'm close to Phil and I wish him the best, but once we step into inside those white lines, it's the game of football and you're trying to win, trying to dominate.
We'll go next to Tom Noie.
Drew, when you have such a big win as you did on Saturday, and then you can see the light at the end of the tunnel academically this week, what's the biggest challenge of getting ready to go and play another football game?
I guess the biggest challenge would just to be disciplined enough to focus on this week. Like I said before, it's 24 hours. And so I guess the biggest hurdle or jump would be for everybody, everyone on the team to be in the same boat and make sure everyone's focused on Boston College. And, judging by today's practice, I would say that's pretty fair to say everyone's in that boat because, we came out and had a lot of good energy and people were flying around. So, the biggest hurdle would just to be focused on this week and focus on Boston College.
We'll go next to Tim Priester.
Sure, you guys have been so good on third down. I know you're not generally on the field for third and long, but just what the mindset is for you guys and the opposing offense between, third and long and third and short. And then the mental performance training that you guys emphasize, how has that impacted you? Does that work for you?
Sure. So the mental performance stuff, I found I already use a lot of, I've been using it since I've gotten here. That was kind of instilled in me through a great high school program. So I was already able to benefit from that, but I know a lot of my teammates have benefited from the mental performance training. And I think it's definitely raised the bar for this team. And then back to third down, we talk about all the time as a defense, you really win third down on first and second down to set up long third downs, which makes third down point in our favor. But man, through the scheme and what Coach Lee has done with the third down packages, and then just the guys on the field, Bo Bauer stepping up in there in the packages. They've done a great job, and there's no better feeling than having a good first two downs coming off, and the third down team finishes it and closes it, and we all rush to the sideline. So it's a great feeling, and those guys are doing a great job.
We'll go next to Lou Samoji.
You just brought up Bo Bauer. Last year at Mike linebacker, you pretty much had a monopoly on the position, and you guys are sharing more time there in different packages. Has that enhanced the play for both of you, and how has it helped you as much? Because Coach Kelly even mentioned in the preseason, it seems like both of you have been able to raise your level.
Definitely. I would say, at the Mike position, me and Bo Bauer definitely have improved off of one another. But just as a collective linebacking unit, I've said it before in my other media interviews. I really do think still we have the best depth at the linebacking core, and it proves evident with me and Bo Bauer because we just fuel off one another. I mean, in the meetings on the sideline, we're in each other's ears, and we're trying to improve for the defense as a whole. So Bo's really improved this year through the offseason and coming to this season, and he's done awesome so far. So can't wait to watch more of him.
And our next question is from John Bryce via the chat. When Shane is playing at the level he did against Clemson, along with Jeremiah, what does that do for the defense, and how much more dangerous have you become as a defensive unit?
Yeah, I mean, Shane Simon and Jeremiah Owusu are incredible players, and I'm blessed and lucky to be able to line up next to them. It definitely gives me some more confidence knowing I got, two dudes left and right of me that are making plays. So, I mean, those guys are great for the defense, but really all 10 other guys on the field fuel me to we call it hunting. So, I mean, we're just run to the ball and we're in hunt mode. So, I don't want to be the only guy on the field to not give maximum effort and energy, because I know those 10 other guys are. So it really just sets up a great dynamic and culture for the defense to fly to the ball.
We'll go next to Angelo Di Carlo.
Drew, I'm curious how much more maybe your phone has blown up in the last couple of days versus from previous wins. If it was, twice as many texts and calls or 3 times as much. And then also, with that aspect of trying to stay with this and raise you guys' level and keep that level of compete that Coach Kelly has talked about at a high level. Is it difficult to do that after such an emotionally draining game?
Sure. So yeah, I mean, to answer your first question, it was a big win. So obviously, whenever you win against a ranked team or, you beat the number 1 team in the country, you're going to get more texts and calls than usual. But that's really not part of our process that we talk about. And, I know on the defensive side, but, really as a team, as a whole, we talk about a faceless opponent. So each week we're going into the week, we're going to the GOO, we're going to the practice with, there's no face to the opponent. It's our standard of play. It's our performance that we want to keep improving. So watching film on Clemson, yeah, we won and we made some great plays, but there's definitely some areas to improve. And so that's where we're trying to head.
We'll go next to Carter Carls.
Drew, you just touched on it a little bit, but those big plays you guys had against Clemson, how do you make those more frequent, and how do you guys get better as a collective group, as a defense, just moving forward?
Sure. So the big plays come, in my opinion, from being fearless. It's not being scared to miss. It's I think Coach Reese gave this analogy a while back, but it's big time players shoot. When the game's online, they're putting the ball up. So on defense, our playmakers, we want everybody to be playmakers. So it's having no fear, of fearless guys flying around, not overthinking anything, and playing to their ability. And, one example would be Wu when he on his touchdown. I mean, came back that drive and shot full speed and blew up the play. And, him just being a playmaker, it ends up resulting in him scoring a touchdown. So that's what it is. It's guys playing fearlessly, not being afraid to make a mistake when they're out in the field.
We'll go next to Tim O'Malley.
Drew, 2 quick ones. For lack of a better word, do you feel offense is breaking at the physicality of your defense this season? There's been a lot of guys peeling themselves off the turf. And number 2, I know there's a rotation that's going to remain inside, but were you able to feed off each other a little bit, you and Shane Simon, where you're going 60 plays together in that game, as opposed to the heavy rotation where you got to get used to someone else next to you?
Sure. I think, one of our, key identifiers, as we call it, is being physical, especially physical at the point of attack, at the line of scrimmage. So that was something that, we thought Clemson hadn't experienced up until last week was our physicalness at the line of scrimmage. So you see, our interior D line controlling gaps and the linebackers flowing downhill and posting up O linemen. So that was our mindset going to the game. That's our mindset every game is being the more physically dominating team. And so I think that was true for last week. And I think me and Shane both going into the game, we just want to play to the highest level that we know we can play. So, whether we're out there for 20 snaps, whether we're out there for 60 snaps, there's just a certain standard of play that we want to perform at. And, I think both of us would just be appreciative of the snaps we were able to get. And I definitely think there was, some sort of chemistry, between me and Shane, but really the defense as a whole, I think we were all just clicking. And I think that's going to be more evident as the season progresses.
And our final question in the queue is from Pete Sampson.
Drew, this is kind of a little out there, but I was curious about when you're blitzing as a linebacker and a running back is there to pick you up, like what kind of techniques you try to do to defeat that? And then also if you've ever had any collisions with Kyron Williams in practice, and if he is sort of surprisingly stout in those situations.
Yes, sure. There's a bunch of different techniques that we use on backs, and it depends on what type of defensive scheme we're in. So whether we want to win outside or whether we want to win underneath, sometimes we get the freedom to just win right through them, as we say. And then, or whether we know that they cut and then you want to defeat the cut block, which I found is the hardest to defeat. But Kyron Williams, both pass protection and running the ball, both more physical than one might think. I think because you just, look him down and his size, I think you just, you have assumptions, and, he will bring it to you, and he's not afraid to tell you about it after. And we, that fueled me and him through fall camp. And I think it fueled our friendship off the field as well, because we're just, competitors. And, during fall camp, that was definitely a thing I noticed was he's way more stout and physical at the point of attack than one might think. And so, he's a great competitor, and I loved going against him in fall camp and in practice. So I'm just glad he's able to do that to other linebackers now. It's fun to watch.
All right, we will wrap it up there. Thank you very much, Drew.
Thanks, guys.
And our final student athlete in a few minutes will be Liam Eichenberg. So if you have a question, please raise your hand.
Hello.
We will continue with Liam Eichenberg. Liam, your first question will be from Tim Priester.
Liam, as a 3-year starter and with your career escalating, you've been in control and been a quality player most of your time at Notre Dame. But early on, as you're learning the game and maybe a few false starts in there, I wonder how the mental performance training has impacted you negative, well, not necessarily negatively, but positively, and how you've used that to your advantage.
The majority of false starts, last season was because we were on a clap cadence. So, it's the first down. So that's kind of difficult to time up, I guess you could say. Definitely Dr. Amber Selkin does a great job with us. She's implemented a lot of things. You know, that's to Coach Kelly for bringing her in. You know, looking at another aspect of things in regards to football. You know, it's just not physical; it's mental as well. So, you know, I would say those have definitely helped. You know, gives you some options in regards to, I mean, in certain situations, you know, certain breathing exercises and also mindset oriented. So it definitely helps.
We'll go next to Tom Noie.
Liam, at what point this week, whether it's calls or texts or media or people on campus, do you just kind of say, you know what, I just want to think about Boston College? Like, ask me about Boston College.
Yeah, you know, I would say the majority of texts I got were right after the game. And then, you know, my parents wanted to talk about the game because they're there. So I called them. But, you know, if I'm being honest, the game's in the past. You know, we need to play BC. BC's a great team. You know, they're great defense, great offense. You know, Phil Jerkovic, you know, he was here. Everybody knows that. I mean, he's done a great job at BC running that offense. So, you know, the defense they're stout, tough, physical defense. So, I mean, it's not going to be a walk in the park, you know. I mean, it's like every game, you know, you got to get out there and you got to play physical. You got to make your blocks and, you know, anybody can win. So we're looking forward to it.
We'll go next to Lou Sabogi.
Liam, wanted to ask about Michael Mayer. He made an early mistake there with the movement at the 1 yard line, yet he bounces back later in the game, makes some plays. I think he had almost 70 snaps in the game. Coaches don't want to take him off the field. What have you seen from him, not only just physically, but mentally, to get to where he is at this point in his career, where he's even leading the team in receptions?
Yeah, you know, Baby Gronk, he's a very physical player, you know, and I think that's what separates him from a lot of guys on the team. You know, he sets a tone. He doesn't shy away from hitting anyone, you know, and then, I mean, you can see that when he catches the ball and he runs. So, you know, from a mental aspect, you know, he was committed over the summer. You know, he sacrificed to get to where he is now, you know, and I mean, you could see it in the weight room and in the film room. You know, he dedicated time and it's definitely paid off.
We'll go next to johnfineran.
Liam, talk a little bit about the running backs, particularly Kyron, and maybe the attitude that he brings to the position and his talents, that not only as a runner, but as a blocker, how he helps you guys up front.
Yeah, you know, Kyron, one of the biggest things I like about him is, you know, he has a chip on his shoulder, you know, and you see it every single day. You know, he comes out to practice with a chip on his shoulder. You know, he works to get better every single day. And, you know, I mean, you guys saw in the game, it's not easy to pass block as a running back. So, I mean, that's one of the biggest things. You know, it's kind of their first job is to run the ball, but second is to protect. And, I mean, it's not an easy job. And, you know, it's definitely nice having somebody who brings the juice every single day and a positive attitude and wants to get better, you know.
We'll go next to Angelo Di Carlo.
Liam, I'm curious if you guys are aware of what happened in 1993 of Boston College beating Notre Dame the week after Notre Dame beat number one, if that's something that Coach Kelly brought up to you or something you already knew. And then also—
No, I had no idea.
Okay. And also the range of emotions maybe of watching Ian go through fumbling the ball right there at the 1 yard line, and then obviously what he was able to do to lead you guys on that game-winning drive with, you know, maybe all the criticism he's kind of gotten over the years.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of people who doubt Book, you know, and you know, it's not great to see, I guess you could say, because, you know, for me, you know, I played with him for this is our fifth season. And, you know, it just sucks because, you know, I see how hard he works every single day, you know, and in the off season, you know, in the film room, on the field, in the weight room, you know, the amount of time he's dedicated and sacrificed, you know, to help this football team win. And, you know, for us to take the next step in the right direction, you know, and, I mean, I think he's the best quarterback in the country. I mean, I'll say that every single day. And I mean, I think he's the best leader on our team. So, you know, I believe in him, and the offensive line 100% believes in him. So, yeah.
We'll go next to Patrick Engel.
Hey, Liam, on the same theme there, you've having been starting alongside Ian for 3 years and been classmates with him. How have you kind of noticed him handle and seemingly handle well all the noise and criticism and whatnot that just comes with being the Notre Dame quarterback?
I mean, yeah, I mean, being the quarterback at Notre Dame is honestly I think it's one of the hardest jobs out there in college football, I guess you'd say, especially with the tradition behind Notre Dame and, you know, what they expect from you. But, you know, I think Book does a good job tuning everything out, you know, and he listens to the coaches. He works every single day, meets with Coach Reese every single day, you know, on ways to improve, what to see out on the field, you know, scouting our opponents, stuff like that. So, I mean, he has a difficult job, but, you know, he sacrificed the most out of anyone on this team. So
We'll go next to Doug Farmer.
Liam, you've been going up against Ade and Dalen for years, both of them needing development at points in their career, maybe Ade more than Dalen for a stretch there. What have you seen in his growth as a player as you go up against him each week in practice?
I mean, yeah, I told Ade this a year and a half ago. I was like, you've gotten so much better, man. You know, I mean, he came in, he was a long, athletic guy, and, you know, he really worked hard in the weight room. You know, he's super strong now. And at the same time, you know, he works on his technique and craft every single day. But I mean, Ade I honestly think he's improved the most out of anyone. I mean, out of someone who's come in during my class, I guess, you know, a lot of them have graduated, but, you know, I think Ade has improved the most, you know, from where he came in at to where he is now. You know, he's a captain, he's a leader on this team, and, you know, his work ethic. And then on top of that, you know, how he performs on the field. He has taken huge strides. And I mean, I expect him to keep doing that.
We'll go next to Pete Sampson.
Liam, and the concept of blitz pickup, obviously the line has a ton to do with that. Kyron's fit into that well. You know, Ian just identifying what's coming from where. But like overall as a group, like why do you guys think you're so good at that? And then also was Saturday night maybe the most a team had tried to bring pressure in your time here?
Yeah, you know, I would say one of the things that helps the most is, you know, seeing it in practice. But at the same time, you know, it does help that we have a lot of guys who have experience, you know, because, you know, you got Jarrett. I mean, he's the youngest, but I mean, this is his second season. So it's just nice having guys who have experience. And at the same time, you know, the coaches do a good job preparing us. I mean, it definitely is probably the most they've blitzed us. And then on top of that, they kind of figured out our pass protection halfway through the game. So they started blitzing us from different directions and, you know, different stunts. They kind of figured out what we were doing, and we had to adapt to that. So that wasn't fun. That wasn't great. But, you know, I think the coaches do a good job preparing us, you know, the GAs, everybody on staff, you know, they get us the looks, and, you know, the scout team guys do a great job. And I think that's where it starts, is in practice, having the scout team guys, you know, they give it their all and they show us those looks. And, you know, that's huge, you know, for the games on Saturday.
And the final question in the queue is from John Finneran.
Liam, talk about how quickly did you get off the field after the students came onto the field, and how scary was that?
Yeah, you know, it was exciting to see, if I'm being honest, but at the same time, you know, especially with the coronavirus and everything that's happening right now, and, you know, how quickly and easy it is for a program to get shut down with people getting sick. The first thing I did was go and grab a mask, if I'm being honest. I didn't run out onto the field. I went and grabbed a mask, and I was like, okay, I need to get to the locker room. I'm like, I can't be out here. And then on top of that, I mean, I was surprised how quickly people stormed the field, if I'm being honest. I was in shock, but I mean, it was an exciting moment, and I understand why they did it. But at the same time, you know, a lot of our players were smart. They got in the locker room, and we're safe. So that's about it.
All right, we will wrap it up there. Thank you very much, Liam.
Thanks.